excited to be back here again to talk about local sports, and that's what the show's about, local sport.
And now featuring Melissa Maikos, it's the Coach and Maikos on ESPN Savannah Hilton Head.
And good morning, Savannah and the Low Country, and welcome to the Coach and Maikos on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on ESPN Radio Savannah, AM 1400, FM 104.3, and now 92.7 on Hilton Head Island. And it's presented to you by Chatham Orthopedic Associates, because life is moving. Well, another week in the books. We're back really quick. I don't know about you, Miss Maikos, but this week, I don't know where it's been. I mean, five softball games in 4 days, another 2 today, teaching, trying to get grading, trying to do stuff. Radio last night, the ESPN High School Game of the Week, fueled by End Market, New Hampstead against Jenkins out in Pooler. PPD'd, well, not really PPD'd or rained out. They'll pick it up with 7:33 to go in the second quarter at Morris Field, which is over by Grayson Stadium, Optimus Field or Morris Field, whatever they call it, Optimus Park, Daffin Park, right there on Victory Drive. So they'll pick it up with 1:33 to go in the second quarter with New Hampstead leading 6-0, and then just football all over the place. I don't know about you, but it just goes too quick. I think I just woke up or I just went to bed and I'm up already. So
yeah,
it's amazing.
You definitely lead a busy lifestyle, and if this tells you anything, I went to the gym once this week.
Well, you've been under the weather.
Yeah, and that's why I might sound a little nasally and stuffy this morning.
Oh, you are nasally and stuffy.
I got sick, man, and I don't get sick like this, and so I actually had to call out of school, which I don't like to do. Mm-hmm. But I was in there yesterday, and gosh, the kids and the teachers and the staff were amazing. You know, knowing that I was a little under the weather, and a lot of the kids are too. So I feel your pain.
It's going around. I had a couple of kids coming up and getting tissues from me. I said, please stay away. You can have all the tissues you want. Just don't go out in the hallway, blows your nose and sneeze, and just make sure I'll give you a little Germ-X when you come back in the room. But it's going around. Summertime colds, summertime
crazy.
Allergies, it's horrible. My wife goes through it. I've got to knock on wood. Never had the problem up north or down south. So I'm doing fine. Just don't breathe on me.
Yeah, I discovered my allergies when I was living in Tallahassee, and they said Tallahassee is one of the allergy capitals of the world. And then I moved here.
Which is probably a close second.
Yeah, very much so. So, but I'm so excited, Carl, to see the rundown of the high school football games last night. Went out to your softball game, and the Sharks look good. You got a nice little team out there, and
blessed with talent.
Yeah, you got some good talent and coaching. Coaching.
Well,
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
You just got to guide them and do it. Yeah, it's been a while since I had a chance to coach softball and baseball again. When I moved down here in 1995, it seems like it yesterday, but up north, the seasons are separated, so you got time to coach all three sports. Down here, you can never fit the baseball or the softball in. So, but once again, back on the softball field, a lot of fun. Girls are doing good, and we'll talk about the big softball tournament going over at Calvary Day School, who plays at the Jenkins Boys Club. So there'll be a bunch of cars right there on water, so watch where you're going. And like I say, every Saturday morning, we got a great lineup. It's the Coach of Maikos. We're going to start out talking about local scores, local news. Then we're going to go to Fitness First with the Maikos. We got a special one here. It's the WJCL Sports Reporter / like you are, weekend anchor, Amber Carroll over there at WJCL, working with the big guy. I'm excited about it. She's a workaholic like you in the gym, from what I found out.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to her. And I'm going to kind of get a little in depth with her because she's gorgeous.
Oh, beautiful.
She's beautiful.
Out of Nashville, Tennessee.
And a lot of times when you're a pretty face talking sports, you get that look, or you get that stereotype that you're just a pretty face talking sports because you're cute. And so, but she knows her stuff.
She knows her stuff.
And I have to be honest with you, Carl, I'm very, very critical of female sports reporters because I did it. And, I love watching Amber Lynn. She's amazing. And, Big Frank's got a good one in her. And I can't wait to talk to her about her fitness regimen and her sports involvement. And we know that, her roots run deep with her husband in the bigs and everything like that. So she's legit. And I can't wait to talk to her. I'm excited.
She's legit.
She is legit.
All right. And then we'll go to the coach with the Kell and Mell on sports. Top sports stories going around the world or in the United States or in Georgia. And then we'll turn to with the Coach Maikos out the door. We got to go from the first game to the second game. Second game starts at 10:03. We start out again introducing the show, but our Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week backed out.
What?
He had to be at school at 9 o'clock today because he plays for Jenkins High School, and he's got a football game at 1.
Okay.
So I said, don't worry about it. We'll do it in 3 weeks. Jeremy Smith, I had him here when he was in 8th grade as a future football star. He's the leader on the Jenkins team, and he's bringing, he's playing for a program that everybody expects to do good things.
Yeah. Okay. I'll like that. So, that's a fair.
So
enough
we're going to talk a little bit about the football players to watch.
Okay.
So we'll get into that. There are a lot of football players to watch in this area. Then we got the man himself. I call him the voice of Georgia high school football, and that's, of course, the host of the Georgia High School Scoreboard show, heard every Friday night right here at 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. I love the show. You get a recap of all the games. You got the announcers, the radio broadcasters, coaches coming on talking about their team, and Tommy Palmer does a great job. He works for GPS, right? It's a GPS? Georgia Public GPB.
Georgia Public Broadcasting.
Sorry, John Nelson, if you listen, I botched that up. So
Yes.
We'll have Tommy Palmer on. He's been doing this forever. He's been a Georgia boy forever, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And then we'll close it with 3 out the door. The Mell will come back on and give us a little, his insight about things that are related to sports, but it's off the wall. Okay, like last
Kell.
week. Yeah.
He's Kell, I'm Mell.
No, he's Kell. You're Mell.
Yeah.
Okay, what did I say? The Mell and Kell?
You said the Mell will come back on.
Oh, sorry. The Mell's here. I got to get the Kell back on.
Yeah, the Kell.
Okay, let's do this. We got about 3 minutes to go through scores, and I tried to follow your template. Let's start out with the baseball, and I know you love doing this because it's the Braves.
The Braves, yes, STP, don't forget SunTrust Park. First place by half game in the NL East over the Philadelphia Phillies. They did drop their second in a row to the Rockies at the STP. Sean Newcomb, he struggled for second straight start, but that's okay. Ronald Acuna Jr., glad to see that he's back in the lineup, Carl. Did reach on.
We're going to get into that when we talk Mell, Kell, and sports.
Okay, perfect. Up next, they'll be at the STP versus the Rockies. 7:10 is first pitch, and of course, you can listen to it right here on your home for the Atlanta Braves, baseball, Atlanta Falcons, Atlanta Hawks, and Georgia football.
All right, and here we go. The Atlanta Falcons dropped another. They dropped another preseason game last night. I got a little typo here, but they lost to the Chiefs 28-14. Your man out of Boston College was impressive, though. Matty Ice Ryan, finished 7 of 9 with 90 yards, looking very much like the quarterback who won the MVP during the 2016 season, even though, once again, Julio Jones and Devontae Freeman sat out.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. I would rather that because I'm seeing a lot of injuries going on.
Yep.
But yeah, Matt Ryan did look good. Up next, they've got Jacksonville, 7 p.m. Friday.
In the Jacks.
In the Everbank Field.
Yep.
But their first official game, Carl, is September 6th versus some team from Philadelphia.
That lost their MVP Super Bowl player the other day in preseason game. Pro golf, local players, Brian Harmon's off. He's trying to make the Ryder Cup, but he's dropped 2 spots, 15th to 17th. Okay, and Gene Sowers, the elder statesman on the PGA Tour for us.
Last weekend, he was off in Endicott, New York, tied for 25th at 2 under. He's still ranked 11th, so top 20 in the Charles Schwab Cup. He still has 6 out of 10 top 10
You
finishes.
can yell at me. Typo.
What?
He's playing at the Dick's Sporting Goods Open in Endicott, New York.
Oh, I like the Dick's Sporting Goods.
He's in Endicott, New York. Last week he had off. Right now he's tied for 25th at 2 under.
Perfect.
Local colleges, once again, another typo right there. We got football. The orange and blue scrimmage takes place today at T.A. Wright Stadium. Starts at 1 o'clock. We also got standout linebacker Stephen Banks, honored by the Black College Hall of Fame. He's been named to the 2018 Black College Football Player of the Year Award watch list. Pretty special here in SAV when you got a player that capability. And there are players that have gone on to play pro football out of Savannah State.
Yeah, somebody named Sharp.
No, I don't know him. So
yeah, SCAD. The official start to the fall season today, 7 p.m. The men's soccer team, opens their regular season with the University of the Cumberlands at the SCAD Athletics Complex, which is in Hardeeville, right over the bridge. Women's soccer opens up Monday at Middle Georgia State University, 7 p.m.
Yeah, I wrote Middle. I caught myself on that one. I wrote Middle Georgia College, which used to be the 2-year college name.
No,
now it's the Middle Georgia State University.
Yes.
So.
And, of course, football, Carl, has officially kicked off.
6 days for our first college football game, but the teams that we watch usually will start around Labor Day, September 1st. Savannah State, though, will open early. They go on, and they're going to take the University of Alabama, Birmingham, the Blazers, on August 30th, 8 p.m. You can watch that on ESPN Plus if you want to pay $4.99 a month.
Okay, why not?
I am. My son will be on the sideline, plus your friend Nick.
Yes. Nate Scola.
I always call him Nick. All right.
Yes, and UGA open up versus Austin P on September 1st. 3:30 is kickoff. Georgia Tech opens up versus Alcorn State as well on September 1st. That's a 12:30 kickoff. And Georgia Southern, they'll open up against SC State, South Carolina State, 6 p.m. September 1st.
High school football quick. We'll go to the scoreboard here. Once again, last night, ESPN's first high school football game, fueled by M-Market, was canceled after a quarter and a half. New Hampstead was leading 6-0. They'll play today 1 o'clock at Morris Field in Daffin Park. All right, I'm going to go with the Savannah scores. Effingham beats Evans 9-6. Jenkins and New Hampstead pick up today. Long County, South Effingham postponed because of lightning. They will not. No makeup date yet. Savannah High goes across the bridge and loses to Hilton Head 43-14. Memorial Day goes across the bridge and loses to May River 34-6. South Carolina schools kicking our butt. Richmond Hill 27, Grovetown 7. Savannah Christian travels up to Athens Academy and loses 20-7. Go across the bridge, the Low Country. It's all you.
Yeah, in South Carolina, Beaufort 35 over Flora, AC Flora 35-21. Well Branch over Battery Creek 31-9. Screven County, a nail biter over Bluffton 31-30. Cardinal Newman takes care of John Paul II 16-14. We already told you about Memorial Day School falling to May River. Hilton Head Prep 45-zip over Northside Charleston Christian. Hilton Head Island, we told you 43-14 over Savannah High. Thomas Hayward, 33-21 winners over Hilton Head Christian. And Woodland at Ridgeland Hardyville, they're going to play up Monday at 6 p.m. That was postponed due to weather.
All right, and we got a couple of, talking about softball at Calvary Day School now. They play their games at Jenkins Boys Club on Waters. It started at 9 o'clock. Stratford Academy was taking on George Walton. George Walton then takes on Tatnall Square. Then Tatnall Square takes on Islands at 1 o'clock. Richmond Hill versus Stratford at 3, and then Islands and Richmond Hill play at 5 to wrap it up. Cross country next week, live remote. My sidekick and her sidekick won't be here, so
we'll be in Atlanta.
I'll fill in with the AD. It'll be the coach and the AD, Chad Griffin.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
So over at Daffin Park, the Saucony Cross Country Kickoff Classic, which is sponsored by the Arts Academy and Fleet Feet Sport. Over 500 runners will be there running this course in Daffin Park. Great spectator place to watch cross country. If you don't watch it, I mean, it's unbelievable, all these kids running around.
Yeah, they've got a good little area over there to run around Daffin Park. I love it with the Fleet Feet owner who passed away, Espinoza
Robbie
Trail.
Espinoza,
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, the event starts at 7, and you've got varsity JV girls, varsity boys, varsity girls. It's going to be a good time.
It's a madhouse. It really is madhouse.
Awesome.
I like the 7 o'clock one because they open up to anybody that wants to run the cross country course, which is pretty special. And don't forget, we will be together at this event on September 8th at Orleans Square. Well, I'll start it off. Well, she'll be running with Markell, and it's the 2018 Tunnel to Towers 5K Run and Walk. Great event. Support our heroes from 9/11. Go to tunneltotowers.org. Go to Savannah. Sign up, and you'll find Melissa with a red bandana. I don't know, Kell, are you going to put a red bandana on?
He has the original red bandana. Boston College does a red bandana game day where Wells's parents go, and it's a huge deal. And he actually gave me one of his because he gets one every year. So,
you going to wear it?
Yeah, you have to. You don't have a choice, Kell.
So it'll be on him somewhere.
Yeah, it's.
I'll be watching you guys run. So
I'll wear it on my head, but I'm excited to actually wear the original Wells Crowther red bandana.
Once again, Tunnel of Towers run this year in Savannah, September 8th at Orleans Square. Starts at 8 o'clock. We'll finish about 10, but we'll be sitting in the square while everybody's cleaning up. And, of course, a big shout-out to our buddy Jane Grismer, Dominance, who does a great job as the coordinator.
Awesome. Yeah, I can't wait for that one. September 8th.
Next up, we're going to do Fitness First with the Maikos, and from WJCL, sports reporter during the week, weekend sports anchor on the weekends, and that's from Nashville, Tennessee, Amber Carroll. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. You're listening to
The Coach and Maikos.
Right here on ESPN Radio, Savannah Hilton Head. We'll be right back after this.
The Coach and Maikos, only here on ESPN Radio.
Yep. Come on, Cody, how much time we got here? If anybody wants to listen out of town, ESPN post. And welcome back to the Coach and Maikos right here on ESPN Radio Savannah, Hilton Head, and it's all presented by Chatham Orthopedic Associates because life is moving. Well, this is where we start off. We start off talking about how to keep yourself fit and keep in shape, and it's called Fitness First with the Maikos, and we try to bring on special guests, and we saw this young lady running into the Chatham Orthopedic Associates coaches seminar last weekend, and Melissa got excited because she found out that this young lady is also a sportscaster. This young lady also is a sports fanatic. She's a sports anchor, sports reporter like Melissa was. But she's having a lot of fun with the big guy over there at JCL. And joining us now on the ESPN Savannah Smiles mobile hotline is the sports anchor at JCL during the weekend and sports reporter during the week, Amber Carroll. Amber, always a lot of fun, and I'm glad you can make it on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. A great night last night. We got our first taste of high school football, and it was a great night. So.
Yeah, how'd you like your first taste of lightning and canceling games?
We were going back and forth trying to figure out what was delayed, what wasn't delayed, but we got a few games in, luckily, over in the Low Country.
Yeah, well, we got one today at 1 o'clock. You covering in that?
You know it. I'll be there.
You're going to come over and cover my softball game over at the Calvary softball tournament?
Oh, but you're in the Calvary softball tournament?
Yeah, we take on Richmond Hill at 5 o'clock.
Hey, well, I'll have to come out there.
See if you can squeeze that in. See if the big guy let you do that. Well, you're the weekend sports anchor, so don't let him tell you what to do. You tell him what to do. All right, well, let's get to it. Fitness First with the Maikos and Amber Carroll from WJCL.
Amber, I'm so glad that you were able to take some time because I know how busy your schedule is because I ran it too back in the day, and so I appreciate you taking the time.
You guys back in the day, like you're so old.
Yeah, well, just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in the sports industry.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, and like you said, thank you for having me on and to talk to another female sports reporter. That really means a lot because there's not too many of us, in the industry. I knew, that I wanted to do this since I was probably about 15 years old. I started doing it in high school with our local channel, and it just kind of grew from there, and it was something I immediately just knew that was for me. There's nothing in the world that I'm more passionate about, I don't believe, than sports, and whether that's recruiting, whether that's college football, high school football, baseball.
So what, did you have a sports background? Did you play sports growing up? What got you so interested in it?
Honestly, I actually was a cheerleader. So I was on the other end of things. Still athletic, gymnast, and but my sister was really big into basketball. She was an excellent high school basketball player, and those were our vacations growing up, going to different AAU tournaments, and so I think that's where that love came from of different sports. And, of course, my dad was a huge football fan, so Saturdays were always reserved for college football.
I bet you it was Tennessee.
Oh, yeah. You have no idea. Actually, for his birthday, we surprised him and created the bonus room. We painted it solid orange and had those Tennessee wallpaper at the top. But, he loved it. He loved it. It was the Tennessee football room, and you only went in there if you were going to be quiet and watch the game.
That's awesome. So what do you do, because you're obviously in good shape. What do you do? I know you spend some time at the gym. What does your fitness routine involve?
And I think with our schedules, as you guys probably know, sometimes it's really hard to get in a good workout because you're tired. You just have so much going on. Your body's fatigued. But I like to get in the gym 6 to 7 days a week. I do 40 to 45 minutes of cardio on incline, and then I'll do separate different body groups working out. And I felt like this is the best way to keep endurance. Doing that incline has really helped me keep an endurance, especially with that camera on your shoulder.
Yes.
Running through, I can do that all day long because I think just training my body at the gym and making sure I get different body groups in throughout the week as well. And it keeps me lean as well, like I like. So, I just try and get in the gym every day if I can. And like days like today where you've got a long schedule ahead and you're going to be trotting the sidelines for a while, I'll skip out today and maybe hit it even harder in the morning.
And you're listening to Coach Maikos right here on ESPN Radio Savannah. And joining us now, and she still is joining us live on the Savannah Smiles mobile hotline, is WJCL sports reporter, weekend anchor, Amber Carroll. And I know you got another question you want to throw at it, Melissa.
Yeah, so how heavy is that camera?
How heavy is that camera? I think someone told me it's like, okay, so we got these new lights, and it was 22 pounds without the light. That's what they told me.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that it's probably a good, 27 pounds.
And that doesn't include the tripod, and that doesn't include the camera bag. So, I mean, people don't realize, Amberlynn, that when you're out there, they see your face on TV, but yet they don't see you, grinding and hitting the pavement so hard. And I've seen you around hustling, and you really do have to be in good shape to be what we call a one-man band.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, you're completely right. And behind the scenes, just trying to get it together at the end of the night sometimes, You're, like you said, you're hustling to get the highlights edited. You're hustling to get everything ready and help produce. And by the end of the night, and of course also being a female, a part of it is making sure, your hair and makeup has to be ready before you head out there. So I've found the tips and tricks for that. But, yes, ma'am, you gotta be in somewhat shape to carry this thing.
I agree with you. I mean, and we talk about the football players, the people outside, the cross-country runners getting acclimated to the heat and the weather down here. You're from Tennessee. Is there a difference from Nashville, Tennessee? I know you were up in Columbia, South Carolina, about doing that kind of stuff here in Savannah, Georgia? Or is it a little more stress because of the heat, humidity, the more 90-degree days that you have to deal with?
It's so funny. I was trying to compare the heat, like you were saying, different places I've lived. And Columbia was just hot. It was, and they call it famously hot, but I mean, it was just like you step outside and you sweat. And here, it's like a little bit more humid, like I was used to in Nashville. So it wasn't a huge difference at all. And I was kind of used to that as well because I covered sports in Nashville right when I graduated college.
And talk a little bit about your husband, because sorry, fellas, Amberlynn is off the market. But your husband, he's also involved in sports, and Carl and I know what he does. And for those that might not know what he does, talk a little bit about your husband. Brag on him a little bit.
Yeah. Oh well, thank you guys. He has just, worked his tail end off to get where he is. He was a 22nd round draft pick, 2015 out of Southern Miss. Has been through every single level, rookie ball all the way up to AAA. He got traded from the Yankees. That's the organization he was drafted by on July 24th. And we made our way. Of course, a lot of people don't know kind of that end of it, too. I guess, they're always grinding. And, of course, you guys know that. And but we got traded to the Orioles and then headed down to Norfolk, AAA. And about 4 days later, he got the call up to the show, and that was a huge blessing. So that it's been a journey, definitely trying to get used to. I guess it's a whole nother ball game, to be real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I like the way you said we moved up to the show, because being a father of a Major League Baseball player and you being the wife of a Major League Baseball player, my son's still in the minors, it's such a grind, it's such wear and tear on the family, the spouses. How do you deal with all the ups and downs as Cody goes through? Because I find it tough, when he has a great game, I feel good. When he has a tough game, I feel down in the dumps. How do you handle it? And plus, you're married to the guy, he's never home.
You were so right about that. I know a lot of people ask her, how are you a newlywed? He's never home. I'm like, well, we'll get to that one day. But right now, baseball isn't forever, and my career isn't forever, so we just make it work. But, like you said, you nailed it on the head, because it's very difficult, like you said, the ups and downs. And it's always fun, and you have to remember, I think, that baseball isn't life, and when you do have those bad games, you can say, you know what, I learned something tonight, and I'm going to take that into next time when I come in, and I'm going to go kick some butt. And that's why I really just try and fuel him, and no matter how I'm feeling at the moment, I know that no matter what, I always have to be positive for him, because at the end of the day, he doesn't need negativity, he only needs positivity, as you can attest to being in the clubhouse and locker room. Sometimes you don't always get that positive punch. So if you can get it anywhere, it's probably going to be me.
So I have a quick question for you, Amberlynn. How do you deal with some of these people that think that you're just a pretty face on TV? Because, I mean, let's be real. Like, you're gorgeous. And so a lot of people think that, pretty sports reporters are just put in that position because they've got a pretty face. But what they don't see is what you and I know is that how hard you're hustling. So how do you combat that, and how do you deal with that internally?
Well, thank you so much for saying that, first of all. And, it used to bother me a lot when people didn't take me seriously. And I think the older I get and the longer I do this, I think I just ignore it. Because I think, there's always going to be that one doubter. There's always going to be people that think you're in it for the wrong reason. And I think my husband really helped me with that, because he really gave me an attitude like, you know what you're doing. There's absolutely no reason to pay attention to the naysayers, and that's kind of how I take it. If someone doesn't take me seriously, then they can go watch someone else. That's fine. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Hey, I got a quick update. I don't know what time the big guys got you going into work, or you make your own schedule on Saturdays. I just got a tweet from my good friend, Coach Kevin Brown, who used to be the baseball coach, AD at Groves. Now he's the AD at Woodville Tompkins. Long County is at South Effingham at 11 o'clock this morning. They're playing the game.
Yes, sir. I will be there.
I didn't know it. Did you know that was starting this morning? I thought it was postponed altogether.
We found out late last night, so I went ahead and I've got my camera with me, because South Effingham is kind of just down the road from me at home, so it works out perfectly.
Well, Amber, appreciate you coming on. You do a great job, and
Yes.
Like Melissa said, you're a very pretty young lady, and you do a great job. And you and I talk a lot because we're living the same thing. Me with my son, and you with your husband. Keep up the great job, and I know sooner or later you're going to leave the SAV to be with him more. But right now, you're making an impact. Great job.
Well, thank you guys so much, and thank you for having me on, and thank you all for what you do for the community in sports as well.
Well, Amber, can't wait to watch you tonight. Tell everybody what time to watch you.
All right, you can see me on 6 at WJCL and 11 as well.
Awesome. Make sure you guys tune in, all right? She's awesome. Thanks, Amberlynn. We really appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Go Orioles.
Thank you. Go Wolves.
You got it.
Bye.
Yeah, I mean, you lived the life. She's living the life. Pretty young ladies doing a job, and, you get to look like, what are you doing sports for? Well, you have a passion for it. You've played it. You're living it. You're living with a professional athlete. People don't realize, and they don't realize, like you said, you're lugging around a 25-pound camera, you're lugging around the bag that it goes in, you're lugging around the tripod, you got to get the film, you got to go back and you got to break it down, you got to, whatever you guys do with the magic and with the computer, I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Well, Carl, she's grinding,
right.
And sometimes like Savannah's considered a smaller market,
right.
And she's paying her dues,
yes.
And she's doing it, and I can so appreciate that, because again, I'm not going to deny she's beautiful,
right.
But she knows her stuff, and
yep.
I think that's a rare combination, because a lot of times you get some of these females, and let's be real, that get into it just because they want to meet the athletes or they just want to be on TV, and that's not her, because if that's what she wanted to do, I guarantee she could already be doing that. She's grinding hard and working hard at it and perfecting her craft, and I can so appreciate that. And I'm
going to give a big shout out to his previous assistant, Stephanie Farrar.
Oh yeah,
what a great job she did. Another pretty
one.
young lady, but you know what? She switched the hat. She's a teacher just like you now.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see where Amberlynn goes from here. And she probably has the opportunity to not maybe if Cody makes it to wherever he wants to go. She probably has the opportunity to maybe not work again, but I guarantee she's going to be doing this for a while.
All right, we're shortchanging your what do you call them? The ride
or die.
Ride or die cohort, and of course we've blown it. We've gone over again, but it's worth it. Amberlynn Carroll does a great job for WJCL. Thank you for coming on. Next up, it's the coach with the Kell and Mell talking sports right here on the Coach and Maikos on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head.
Now, back to the Coach and Maikos on ESPN Radio.
That's right. Thank you for listening, whatever it be, for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes to the Coach and Maikos. And this is the third part of our show. We've added this gentleman into the crew here. It's our third segment, after Fitness First with Maikos, and it's the coach with the Kell and Mell. Markell Blount joining us every Saturday morning now. He also is behind the scenes. He could have helped us last week with all the grunt work we had to do, but he's got 2 little girls he had to go spend some special time with. So, Markell, well, there'll always be little girls to us. My daughter is 25, and she'll always still be my little Shelly. So, it never changes. But glad to have you back, big guy.
Glad to be back. Appreciate it. Always a pleasure, my friend.
I scared you yesterday when I was taking out the garbage, eh?
Yeah, I didn't know who was coming at me. I'm like, wait, who is it? Oh, it's Carl. Okay.
So, well, that's the job of a coach around here. Melissa will tell you got to do everything. But once again, glad to have you back. And we usually take 3 points and we try to break them down, but we're running against time. So we're going to stay with this one for about 5 minutes, take a break, come back and finish the show with Markell. But, Ronald Acuna getting plunked against the Fish from Florida. The Miami Marlins on the elbow, and everybody was, worried about it. Brian Snicker came out and defended. That's my boy, and he got thrown out of the game, and Urena gets a 6-game suspension. But there are so many unwritten rules in baseball. How do you feel about the unwritten rules? And I know Melissa was trying to find unwritten rules in other sports, but
It frustrates me. Melissa and I have had this conversation a few times, and she comes from that. She has a sort of baseball, softball background, so she's folled it her whole life.
She's got that mentality.
And she's like, you can't do it. You can't. I'm like, well, so this came up, and it just really, there's obviously been a lot of outrage over it, and
right.
And there's been some folks defending it. For me, I didn't come from a baseball background, but it's still it's daunting to me to figure out that you would actually throw that ball at somebody that fast. Whether I know they have pretty good control at that level, but if you hit them in the head or hit them somewhere and injure them, it makes it, it frustrates me to know that can actually happen.
Well, we found an article online. I don't know who it's from, but there are 25 most popular unwritten rules, and we came across this one right away. If a pitcher hits a teammate, hit one of theirs. But, Melissa, nobody hit them. I know Ronald Acuna was hot, 3 leadoff home runs, 5 straight games, and, he's doing it against the Marlins. You take the guy out, first pitch of the game.
And apparently that was the hardest that had thrown all year, right? I get it. It's one of those unwritten rules that, you hit one of my players, I hit one of your players. I don't agree with it, and I really loved what Michael Kay, the Yankee broadcaster, has said about it. It's Bush League, It's definitely Bush League. You don't do that. If you want to show a guy up, strike him out. That's what my dad always taught me to. Strike him out. If you want to brush him back off the plate, yes, you're a professional. You do have enough control to brush him off the plate, give him a sign. But that was definitely Bush League, and I disagree with it. And a 6-game suspension to me is definitely not enough because he's a pitcher. Mm-hmm. So what, is he going to miss one start? So I think that was kind of ridiculous. But, I was thinking about some other unwritten rules in sports, and I guess truly there aren't any unwritten sports in football or field hockey or soccer. But, with baseball, there's a lot of unwritten rules. Don't talk to a pitcher when they're throwing a no-no. Don't bunt when someone's throwing a no-hitter. So there's just a lot of unwritten rules, and I can appreciate the sport for that. But there was no rhyme or reason for Acuna to be thrown at that point in the ball game. And like I said, just Bush League, and I think something has to be done because, like everyone, the majority, I think, are saying that this is a black eye on Major League Baseball. You've got a young up-and-coming talent, and he's doing great, and, so why do that?
You see, I know people are going to cringe, and, we got about 2 minutes to go here, but to be honest with you, Urena said right away, "Are you okay?" in Spanish to Acuna. Right. And he said he didn't think, he wasn't intentionally throwing at him. So, but people have taken it the other way, and, Donnie Baseball, Don Mattingly, one of my favorite baseball players ever played for the Yankees, he was trying to run the ball close to him, get him back off the plate, and he lost control of the pitch. So who are you going to believe? I don't know. So that 6-game suspension, is it right or is it wrong? I don't, I saw of course, I'm a surfer junkie, and I watched Urena talk about it. The guy was sincere. He said he wasn't throwing at him. He was trying to get him off the plate.
Well, I think, I don't think it was enough, because I think you have to send the message, because I believe this does happen. Whether this was the case or not, unfortunately, I do believe that he should have gotten more games for that. I mean, it's the first pitch of the game. You throw, you're trying to get him off the plate, but you pinged him At 90, what,
there's
95?
There's another baseball in written room, Markell. If someone's crowding the plate, you got to move them back off the plate.
And I just feel like, the batter has no recourse. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You charge, you're going to get thrown out, everyone clears. I mean, so those are things that just frustrate me about baseball. Again, it didn't come from it.
Right.
So, I was obviously told, as you know, a lacrosse guy, but that's the part for me.
All right, last one. We got to get out of here so we can come back and finish two more.
I was a pitcher, and I was told on multiple occasions by my coaches to throw at batters. And you know me, I didn't have it in my heart to do it.
Right.
So I just threw what we call a screwball and brushed him back and apologized to the coach because I couldn't do it.
Right.
But I remember as a pitcher, I was hit.
Hopefully this was college, not high school.
This was summer ball.
Okay.
When I remember in summer league, I was hit 3 times in the same spot. And when I got back out on the mound, I was told to hit Chrissy Finn was the pitcher, Chrissy Finn. And so I was told that I got to hit her. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to strike her out. And I struck her out.
All right. Well, we're out of time. We got to come back. We got to do one more segment. We got to take one more break. You got to pay the bills. We'll come back with the Kell, Markell, Blount, and we'll finish up the coach with Kell and Mell right after this break. You're listening to Coach and Maikos and Kell on the ESPN Radio, Savannah, Hilton Head. We'll be right back after this.
Back to Coach Karl DeMasi and Maikos on ESPN Radio.
And welcome back to the Coach and Maikos right here on ESPN Radio, Savannah, Hilton Head, AM 1400, FM 104.3 and 92.7 over on Hilton Island. We're finishing up. We usually go to turn 2, but we're finishing up the coach with the Kell and Mell talking about sports, what's going on locally and nationally. We just got done of the Ronald Acuna Jr. getting beaned. Now this one, you're a little younger in age, not as old as me, because I can't remember way back into 1974 or 75 what it was like. The hype, high school football in Savannah, Georgia, for this week. They call it week 0, but it's really week 1. We're playing football games. You remember what it felt like going into your last year of high school football?
I do. There was a lot of pressure because I hadn't decided where I was going to go to college, but they were doing the recruiting process. So you're getting a lot of phone calls. You actually it can be distracting, and you already know you're going. And so on one end, some kids do a good job of just basically saying, I'm good. I don't have to stress and worry about it. But, now the expectations are still pretty high. In high school, at least up in Boston, you had to have a good junior year that gave you a really good opportunity to play Division I football. Excuse me. And, but, you're still thinking about it. Now everyone knows you. Now, when nobody knew you, it was sort of you can just go out and play. Now, you're on TV. People are talking about it. They're writing articles about it on a consistent basis. And kids today, I feel, even have more pressure because their videos are everywhere. They're on YouTube, Huddle, everything. So, it's an exciting time, but it was a little bit stressful, at least the first half of the year until I made the decision.
Now, you grew up, your family originally from Georgia up to Boston. And what were the high school games like in Boston? Were they packed houses? Did you have your own stadiums on your own campus? Because in Savannah, Georgia, all our public school teams have to go to different places to play.
Yeah, I don't love that, by the way. I don't love that at all. I think, and Melissa's talked about this before, there's something about a home field advantage, and having your home crowd there. And, and even if you're the away team coming in, you can get geared up for that, going into a hostile environment.
What was it like in Boston?
It's not the same. It's
because of the pro sports.
Exactly. Even college sports. BC will take a back seat to
Boston College.
Boston College, not Benedictine.
Right.
We'll take a back seat to the professional sports. And when Matt Ryan was there, they were great and they were having a great time. But the Patriots were winning Super Bowls, the Red Sox had won a championship. The Bruins won. So it was
Celtics.
Exactly. It's not football in the Northeast. It's just different. You do have some really good programs. Where our good friend Matt Hasselback went to Savannah High School. It's a great program, private school. It's definitely different. There's not as much hype around it.
When are you going to take him to a football game down here in the South so he can get some hype?
Well, we were going to go last night. I thought that Islands was opening up, but we've already have our calendar laid out about which games we're going to go to.
You got to take him to Benedictine game over at Savannah State.
Oh yeah, I mean, we looked at the schedule last night, and so we need some shark gear.
Right.
We need some shark gear, so we're you know us, we love our T-shirts, so we're gonna come up with some fun shark paraphernalia. Got to talk to Mr. Tansy, yes.
There are some good shark football shirts in there.
Yeah, they customize. We'll have to shark at the surfboard shop.
Tell them about the pregame party at Benedictine.
Oh my gosh! So
high school football.
Yeah, they have a tailgate party, and they play their games at Memorial, and Memorial is
TA Wright Stadium now.
Oh, they're at TA Wright. They're not playing at Memorial's not ready yet.
No, Benedictine won't play at Memorial Stadium. They'll play at...
Oh, okay. So, I mean, you might as well call it Benedictine Field
right.
Because when they bring the party, they bring the party. And, they'll have, a parade of cars going down the street to get to the stadium. But, yeah, it's huge cookouts, and it's amazing. It's absolutely insane. Like, you can go there and just stay in the parking lot the whole game. And, I mean, it's like a college atmosphere.
Have you ever seen a high school game have a tailgate party?
No, I have not.
She's got to take you to a Benedictine game. Islands plays Benedictine. I don't know if it'll be at Memorial Stadium or it'll be at TA Wright Stadium, Savannah State. You got to get over there.
Yeah, we'll get that done. I'm excited. This is my first football season in the South.
So, well, you'll have a lot of fun with it. Okay, Melissa, we're done with game number 1. It flies by too quick. I know we went a little over with our fitness first guest, Amber, Lynn, Carroll from WJCL, weekday sports reporter, weekend sports anchor. Great job. And we're going to go into game number 2. We're not going to have a Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week, but we'll be talking about the players we feel you need to watch. You're listening to
The Coach and Maikos right here on
ESPN Radio Savannah, AM 1400, FM 104.3. Stay tuned. Game number 2 is coming up. We have a great guest at about 10:30, the voice of high school football, Tommy Palmer. Have you ever talked to him?
Yes.
So it's going to be exciting. He does the Friday Night Football Scoreboard show right here on ESPN Radio Savannah. We're looking forward to it. Cody, great job. Hour number 1. We're going to go into hour number 2. And remember, it's all right here on ESPN Radio, Savannah Hilton Head, AM 1400, FM 104.3, 92.7 at Hilton Head. We'll be right back after this big break.
This is the Karl DeMasi Sports Report.
Excited to be back here again to talk about local sports, and that's what the show's about, local sport.
And now featuring Melissa Maikos, it's the Coach and Maikos on ESPN Savannah Hilton Head.
And good morning, Savannah and the Low Country, and welcome to game number 2. That's right, we play 2 games here, 9 to 10 and 10 to 11. And it's the Coach and Maikos on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report right here on ESPN Radio Savannah, AM 1400, FM 104.3, and 92.7 now over in Hilton Head. We also are streaming live at ESPNCoastal.com. And also, if you get in your car and you want to listen to us, just go to the ESPN mobile app and download it and go to Savannah Hilton Head. You'll see the little headphones at the bottom of the app, and you can go right there and listen to us. So we're all over the place. We've already finished game number 1. The first hour went a lot quicker. You got to thank WJCL sports reporter Amber Lynn Carroll for coming on, because she probably had a late night last night. Sports reporter, just like Melissa Maikos used to do, and of course, our man Markell Blount coming in talking about local sports or sports that's going on. So, well, Melissa, having a lot of fun?
Yeah.
You sound a lot better. The nasal passageway is opening up.
Yeah, I just swallowed a bunch of mucus. I know that's gross, but that's what makes my stomach hurt. Yeah, it's been rough. And the older you get, the harder it is and the longer it is to recover. But I'm legitimately sick when I don't go to the gym. And I had to call out spin class on Thursday. Thankfully, they're a great group of spin instructors and teachers over there that will cover for you when you're not feeling well. So I appreciate the Islands YMCA, staff over there for helping me out. Because I just wasn't feeling well. And, I remember, when I was playing sports and everything, I scored my 1,000th point when I had the flu in basketball. So, I try to, I'm a gamer. I try to play. I try to make it. But, at this day and age, I just knew if I went to work on Thursday that I'd probably be out a lot longer. So.
Yeah, well, you did the right thing. You got to get rest. You got to, cure that illness. And we're back in the swing of things. 2 weeks of school under our belt, and it seems like the this year for me with coaching softball at the beginning of the school year, it's been very, very it's been a quick 2 weeks for me. So I'm excited about it today. We're playing over at the Calvary Day School softball tournament. Calvary played 2 last night. They beat on Thursday. They beat Savannah Christian, their arch rival, in extra innings 9-7. So a lot of good softball going on, a lot of football going on. First week of high school football. So we're ready to go, and let's just kick it off. And while in the second hour, second game, we usually have our Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week on in our second segment, which is about 10:17. But due to his game being postponed, and they're not redoing it, they're picking up where they left off. New Hampstead at Jenkins, our ESPN high school game day / high school game of the week show, fueled by Markell, will be played today at Daffin Park on Morris Field. So get out there and watch some high school football.
And I know it's frustrating being out there and having the game delayed and stuff like that, but the safety and security of the fans and the players and the referees and all that, because I was at a game back in my day when I was at WCTV in Tallahassee in Thomasville, Georgia, and a kid got struck by lightning. So
you got to worry about it.
Yeah, I wasn't at that game, but that was breaking news one Friday night football, and Thomas County Central, they wound up putting in these huge lightning detectors and everything like that. Of course, this was before we had the lightning indicators on our phones. And all that
the weather bug.
Yeah.
And anytime the strike is within 10 miles, you have to wait another 30 minutes. So last night it came about 8:30. Finally, about 9:15, 9:30, finally said, well, this is not going to happen. So they'll pick up the game today. And also, South Effingham against Long County was also canceled because of lightning. They're starting at 11 o'clock this morning up there in the corral in Guyton at South Effingham High School.
And that's one of my most favorite fields when I was at WTOC, because, again, it's that home field advantage, and you roll up to that school.
But
and
you got to take your ride or die with you to these places. He's got to experience Southern football.
Yeah, it's definitely a different bird here down south than it was up north, and I don't know if that's the professional sports aspect that Markell mentioned, but it definitely you don't get a school like Boston College down here in Savannah would have been blown up all over the news. But there's just so much professional sports, and even growing up in New Jersey, New Jersey is associated with New York, and you've got all the New York teams. So we didn't get any love on the television, but we certainly got it with the local newspapers, which was nice.
That's why people say, "What's your favorite college team?" I say Notre Dame, because there was on Long Island. There's no major college. I mean, so good Catholic family. We had to watch something. My father was a diehard Notre Dame fan. I know Boston College is a good Catholic school, too, but we'll get into that later on. All right, let's go to the scoreboard. Kick it off first with baseball.
Yes, the Atlanta Braves, they are still in first place, half a game in the NL East, leading by a half a game in the NL East over the Phillies, but they did drop 2 in a row. They lost to the Rockies at SunTrust Park. Sean Newcomb, man, he's struggling on the hill, but, Ronald Acuna Jr. is a highlight for the Braves. He did come back after getting hit by that pitch, infield single against Freeland, and scored on a sac fly, but that was all Atlanta could get on the scoreboard. So tonight they're going to play again at SunTrust Park versus the Rockies, 7:10 p.m., and you can hear that game right here because we're your flagship station for Atlanta sports.
There's 2 teams that have been really hot in Major League Baseball. In the American League, it's been the Oakland Athletics.
Yes.
I think they might overtake the Houston Astros, and in the National League, the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, right, I know.
So we'll talk about that. Yeah. Last night, the Falcons dropped their second preseason game to the Chiefs. 28. The Chefs. Did I?
No, it is the great Googly Moogly. Remember that?
Yeah.
Sorry, that commercial.
Yes, you got me going here now. Okay.
Sorry.
Because I've been doing a lot of typos. Because last night got home late, up this morning at 5:30 to put this together. But Matty Ice Ryan, impressive in the Falcons' 28-14 win over the Chiefs. He was 5 of 7 for 90 yards. He did it without Julio Jones and Devontae Freeman. So that's the second week they've sat out. But preseason football, NFL football, is a waste of time. You need 2 games and then go into the football season. You don't need these 4 games just to make money. Of course, you want to see the young kids get a chance, but I'm going off the tangent here. But he looked really good. Next up, they're in Jacksonville at 7 o'clock next Friday against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and their first official game will be September 6th against the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles.
Never heard of them.
Okay, pro golf.
Brian Harmon, he's off this week. Last week at the PGA Championship, finished tied for 72nd at 2 over. The Ryder Cup Outlook dropped 2 spots, 15 to 17. He's ranked 33rd in the world, 31st in the FedEx Cup.
And only the top 8 get picked for the Ryder Cup. And what does he have? He has 4 captain choices. Mm-hmm. So right now, Tiger Woods looks like a lock for that.
Right, no doubt. And
Brian's not doing it.
Gene Sowers is
Dick's Sporting Goods.
Yep, on the course, tied for 25th at 2 under. He's ranked 11th in the Charles Schwab Cup, 6 out of 10 top 10 finishes.
You want some college football? Savannah State, the Orange-Blue game, their final warm-up before they travel to UAB on August 30th to take on the University of Alabama Birmingham Blazers. So get out there. It starts at 1 o'clock. Wright Stadium. Bring an umbrella because it's going to be very hot there. So outstanding linebacker.
Yeah, Stephen Banks.
Honored by the Black College Hall of Fame committee. He was named to the Black College Football Player of the Year award watch list. Pretty special from Savannah State. You know, we had some guys play major NFL football from Savannah State.
Yeah.
And I know you love him.
That sharp guy, right?
That sharp guy, okay.
Yes, of course.
Right. Scad?
Oh, yes.
It kicks off.
They're in full swing. Official start of the fall season is up and running. Today, 7 p.m., the men's soccer team opens the regular season. The women's soccer opens up Monday at Middle Georgia State University. That's a 7 p.m. kickoff. And don't forget, the Scad, they've got their nice soccer complex over there in Hardyville, right over the bridge. So
7 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, go check them out. And football, it's
6
here.
days away. First
It's
game
here.
is August 24th. Most will start September 1st. Like I said, Savannah State opens up on August 30th at UAB at 8 p.m. You can watch that on ESPN+. And then Georgia opens up against Austin Peay in Sanford Stadium on September 1st, 3:30. You missed those tailgate parties you used to go up there with WTOC?
I didn't ever get to go.
They didn't take you?
No.
The boys left you home? Tim, your buddy, left you home. From Staten Island, Tim Gadara left you home.
Yeah, Tim. It was always Tim and Rick and Jody Chapin. So, you know, when you're still like a little man on the totem pole, but it was fine. I went to plenty cocktail parties between Florida and Georgia. I've actually never been to Sanford Stadium.
Never?
No, but I've covered more Georgia games than I can tell you about because they were always on the road. Went to Jordan Hare, went to, cover them when they played the Gators and covered them.
Markell Blount, she's got to take you to a Georgia game. 92,000 crazies.
Yeah. When I covered Mark Richt, it was versus Auburn when I did the story with his wife. So, never been to Sanford.
And the Georgia Tech Rambling Wreck opens up the same day, September 1st at 12:30 against Alcorn State. And Georgia Southern opens up against South Carolina State. Same day, August 1st at 6 p.m. Got a lot of college football that weekend, Labor Day weekend. High school football started. The first ESPN Savannah high school football game, fueled by Emmark, was last night, but we got postponed midway through the second quarter. New Hampstead was playing Jenkins. New Hampstead had a 6-0 lead. They'll pick the game up today at 1 o'clock at Morris Field. All right, I'll let you do the Georgia scores to start this off. We're gonna give you the Savannah scores and the Low Country scores every Saturday morning, so go right ahead.
Yeah, so Effingham, I thought this was a typo. I thought it was a baseball
not.
score. Effingham 9 over Evans 9-6. Jenkins, they'll resume their game today versus New Hempstead, Long County at South
Right
Effingham.
now at 11 o'clock?
Yeah, there is a makeup date for South Effingham.
When I went to bed, there was no makeup date.
Yeah.
Now, when I wake up this morning, Amber found out, Frank found out late last night, but I'm telling you, I got home exhausted. So
yeah, 11 a.m. they'll make that game up. Savannah High falls to Hilton Head 43-14. May River Downs Memorial Day 34-6. Richmond Hill over Grovetown 27-7. And Savannah Christian falls to Athens Academy 22-7.
that's a long ride to lose 20-7.
Yeah.
So, all right. In the Low Country, South Carolina school scores. Buford 35, AC Flora 21. Well Branch over Battery Creek 31-9. Screven County pulls out a big one against Bluffton. They came back in the last minute of the game to win 31-30. Cardinal Newman beats John Paul II 16-14. May River, we talked about, beat Memorial Day 34-6. Hilton Head Prep 45, Northside Christian 0. Thomas Hayward 33, Hilton Head Christian 21. And Woodland at Ridgeland Hardyville was postponed. They'll play that Monday night at 6 o'clock. Let's do this quick so we can get to our players to watch here on the Coach and Maikos, the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete Week. We got softball tournament going on in Calvary. It started at 9 o'clock this morning. The first game is going on, Stratford against George Walton. Then at 11 o'clock, George Walton takes on Tatnall Square. Then Tatnall Square takes on yours truly and the Sharks at 1 o'clock. Islands High School. Richmond Hill comes in, takes on Stratford at 3, and then Islands takes on Richmond Hill at 5. Cross country.
Yeah, the Saucony Cross Country Kickoff Classic is next Saturday. This is a great event if you can get out there because anybody can run up to, they're going to limit to 200 people. So get out there at 7 a.m. You can run a 5,000 meter race, but it's a whole bunch of, cross country runners, boys and girls varsity JV over at Daffin Park Saturday, August 25th, and we'll be live, but I won't be here, but You'll be
It'll
live
be
on
the
location.
coach, not coach and Maikos. It's going to be the coach and the AD.
Coach and the AD.
Chad Griffin is coming out of the dugout. He's going to pinch hit for Melissa Maikos, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be the coach and the AD. Chad Griffin, we've done it before. Remember, next Saturday it'll be over like 500 high school runners, so get out there early. And then I got a big shout-out to Jane Grismer, Dominance, and her crew for the 2018 Tunnel to Tower run. It will be a live remote. I'll start it off by myself, and then hopefully the Kell and Mell will show up in their red bandanas and supporting their Boston College friend.
Wells Crowther.
So it'll be a lot of fun. Go to tunneltotowers.org/Savannah. You can sign up there, and it'll be a lot of fun. I got to give a big shout-out to my man at Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering, Bill Vasaccio. Forget about it, y'all. You want some good food? Well, if you got a business and you want to feed 20 of your friends, or you and 19 of your friends at your business, go to ESPN Coastal, click on the link, the picture of Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering. We got over like 45 businesses already signed up. We will pick the winner on August 30th.
I think it should be the Melissa Maikos business because
hey, no cannoli for you, buddy.
Yeah,
so,
it's and if you haven't been there, I mean, you're talking to two Northerners and a true New Yorker and a New Jerseyan, and that it hits legit.
Jersey girl, but
legit is the word of the day. Rocky's
it's legit.
Deli, yeah, it's so good.
So it's lit.
It's lit, yeah.
So get out there, enjoy some Italian food, and he makes everything fresh on the premises. So once again, Rocky's New York Deli and Italian Catering, 7630 Skidaway Road, right there by Sandfly. Okay.
Yes.
Next up, we're going to talk about who we think are our players to watch. We didn't publicize it, but it's something to talk about because Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week had to go get dressed for his football game. He was supposed to be on. Jeremy Smith, he was on as an 8th grader. Future stars, while he's one of the big players in Savannah this year, and he's one of our players to watch. You're listening to Coach and Maikos right here on
ESPN Radio, Savannah, Hilton Head.
And we'll be right back after this.
Now here's more of the Coach and Maikos on ESPN Radio.
And yes, it's the Coach and Maikos. We're here every Saturday morning from 9 to 10. And we thank you for listening to us like I say every week. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it may be, you listen to us. We really do appreciate you, and we try to stress local sports here and national sports. And this is a segment that we both love doing. It's called the Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Month. And Athlete of the Week, not month, week. And this is where we bring on kids that have done something special. This young man who was supposed to be on here today was nominated. He was also an Athlete of the Week way back when he was an 8th grader. He was a future football star, and he played in a big game out of Georgia, and he represented the SAV very well. Well, now he's one of the players to watch at Jenkins High School. That's Jeremy Smith. They're using him at wide receiver, running back, defensive back. He's being looked at by Tulane and Marshall, and there's a whole bunch of schools looking at him. And I figured since he couldn't come in because it was last minute because the game got canceled, so he had to be at school at 9 o'clock this morning because the game's at 1 o'clock. He couldn't come in, so I figured what better way than let's talk to the old sports reporter who had to go cover the best players in the city, because back then you used to do Super 11 with WT's Big Red 11, Super 11, whatever it was. What was it called?
It was a Super 11 because it's WTC was the Big Red 11.
Right.
So we picked Rick Snow was really good. He was really the one that kind of put the list together of the top 11 players in the Low Country and Coastal Empire. So it was also South Carolina and Savannah area, Effingham and Bryan County as well. And so that was always fun because it's fun to see these kids. When you pick them, they were so excited to be in that magazine, and just to see some of these kids. I mean, Carl, let me tell you, back when I was covering it, these kids are a lot bigger, stronger, faster, and the whole recruiting thing and the whole it just changed in that short period of time since I was at WTOC, and just looking at some of these kids and the schools that they're being recruited by is so impressive. And we've got, you and I were talking about some of these kids, and we can't even come up with a top 25 because there's so many kids in our area that, how do you just narrow it down to like a top 10 or a top 11?
I don't know what the experience you had over at WTOC choosing the top players. And, just like Dennis Knight, I feel bad for the guy when he has to do the Savannah Best of Preps, and kids aren't picked and people are upset. I try to stay away from it because when you leave a kid out, you got to hear the repercussions, and every kid deserves some sort of recognition. And then we tried to come up with 11, but we wound up coming up with 23, and then we find out that one of the players that we had on the list is not playing. He decided to go to the baseball route. So, it's tough to pick these, but we put a list together just in case we wanted to do this. We were going to call it the Prep Sports Report Super 11 because Melissa and I are toying around with the Prep Sports Report Facebook page and the magazine, and we never got to it because we're so busy.
I know.
We don't have time. But anyway, if you have somebody that you want to nominate, you want us to talk about, just let us know. This is just a list we came up if we were going to do this. You go to ESPN Coastal. ESPN Coastal came out with their Coastal football team. Great selections. Kids from the local area, kids from down the coast. And they got time to do that. That's what they do. They write articles for SouthernPigskin.com, and they do a great recruiting show after us. So they're, explosive recruiting with Jim Johnson and Calvin Wilson. So I wish we had time to do that, but we don't.
Well, we're gonna get it up on the Prep Sports Report, and we're just gonna follow these kids.
We can just follow the kids and see what they're doing. And of course, we took 2 from our school right off the bat because Kaylin Deloach, she had every school in America walking through the halls at Islands High School.
I think he had schools in Europe as well. Yeah, he's
over 50 schools offered this kid a scholarship.
Yeah, so there must be something that he's doing right to get that recognition. So clearly,
and he committed to
Florida State. So yeah,
best opening in college football, right there.
Yeah, well, with Chief Osceola and Renegade.
But isn't that politically correct?
What?
Chief Osceola coming in with the spear, dressed up like an Indian.
Yes, absolutely. And we
I love it. I think it's great, but
it's not derogatory. Markell and I have had this discussion too, and we can talk about this.
Markell Blount is part of our show. Markell Blount, the Kell, as we call him.
Yeah, but Florida State, that's one of the best opens, of course.
All right, so and then we got James Shellman, who played quarterback the last 2 years, now is moving to wide receiver, defensive back, but he's already got 2 offers, one from Michigan and one from Ole Miss.
That's it. Those are some big time colleges, Carl, and there's a reason why he's on this list. Just an impressive young man, and it's amazing what these kids are doing now on the gridiron to get the recognition of these colleges that are not in our area. It's hard for these kids to get the love and get the looks being from small Savannah.
All right, we got Winston Wright.
Del
Vecchio Powell, both out of Memorial Day School. Winston Wright committed to, help me out, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And Del Vecchio Powell, I don't know if you knew this, it just came across the wire. Wofford University has offered
Good for him. That's awesome. Yeah. So, every kid on our list, Carl, has offers from D1 schools. It's really impressive. And then, of course, we go down to Calvary Day School with
3 of them.
Daquan Dowse, Jalen Leary, and Syed Stevens. And is Syed the one going to Duke?
Yes, Syed Stevens is going to Duke. Daquan Dowse is going to Georgia Tech, a little ACC flavor there. And then Jalen Leary hasn't got to get any offers, but in my mind, Jalen Leary is one of the best running backs and linebackers. Yes, you heard me. He's a running back and linebacker, goes both ways in the city of Savannah.
See, and that's going to get him some looks. So he can go in as an athlete, and maybe he'll be one of those sleeper guys. But he's definitely. And
there's somebody I want to put on there, which ESPN Coastal put on their list. Thomas Carver. Okay. This kid's been starting quarterback at Calvary Day School for the last 2 years as a freshman and sophomore. He comes in as a junior, very experienced, good runner, good thrower. Calvary Day School is going to be a team to watch.
Yeah, I agree. And Islands gets to play Calvary Day School in a couple weeks.
And our Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week from last week.
Yeah, what a great kid, Dylan McMahon. He's quite impressive. We know that he had some looks from Boston College as well. So,
I know, it broke your heart.
Yeah, it sure did. But Dylan McMahon, a center from Savannah Christian, and Jordan Grant, another one from Savannah Christian, the quarterback, running back. And, of course...
And he's been offered by Georgia State.
Jordan Grant?
Yes. Here's one for you. This is how ironic it is, okay? His brother was my starting quarterback at Groves High School, Cameron Tillman.
Oh, wow.
So tell me it doesn't go around.
Last
night, the kid that scored a touchdown for New Hampstead, the only touchdown, Jarrell Armstrong. I coached his older brother, John Armstrong, at Groves. So I've seen these kids crawling. They used to bring these kids to practice.
Yeah.
Because they had to watch them because of the family situation. And just to watch these kids grow up and be who they were. Jarrell came around because with mama and dad all the time. So John didn't have to watch him. But I know Cameron had to bring his little brother. So pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now, of course, let's go to a kid that I think is probably the best specialist in the city this year.
Noah Chumley.
Yep.
Yeah, does he come from a line of?
He's legit.
Yeah, he's legit.
I think he could play. I think he could be a Division I. Of course, I'm not explosive recruiting here, but I think he could be a major Division I punter kicker for wherever he goes. He put one last year. We talked about it yesterday. PJ Zucker and I on the pregame show out at there at Pula Stadium. He put one on the roof from 55 yards out. It was off. He didn't make it. But 55 yards you're putting in the roof at Pula Stadium, pretty impressive. He's
clearly got the leg for it. And then we go down to Benedictine, and we got those three big kids, and you've got Rico Powers, Jakeem Harris, and Eric Hicks, and that's right there. That should throw some fear into the opposition with those three big guys.
Well, Rico Powers has offers. He's only a junior from Arkansas, Colorado State, Georgia, Kentucky, South Carolina, Tennessee Western. Jakeem Harris is committed to North Carolina State with Dylan McMahon. And Jaden Hardy, the defensive lineman, has an offer from Kentucky. Did we put on Eric Hicks also?
Yeah, Eric Hicks is on there.
Okay, here's his list. Okay, you ready, Melissa? Yeah. Arkansas State, Army, Central Michigan, Charlotte, Coastal Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Kent State, Old Dominion, South Alabama, the Citadel, Tulane, UCF, Western Kentucky, and Wofford.
Wow.
Can you say Danny Britt's loaded over there?
Yeah, he sure is.
Now you know why they're the team to beat here in Savannah, Georgia.
Clearly. And then, of course, Nolan Smith II from IMG Academy.
Who played 2 years at Calvary. Mm-hmm. Now, here's another one for you that we're going to add, William Brinson. He was at Savannah Christian a week before summer practices started, transferred to IMG.
Really?
Offered already, 6'5", 240 pounds, 50 pounds, already offered by the University of Georgia.
Wow.
You think Kirby Smart likes Savannah, Georgia?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, he recruited people, he recruited our kids when he was over at Alabama.
So, all right, the next one, he has decided to play baseball. Chris Pendleton played in an all-star game last summer. He's decided not to play football this year at Country Day. He'll be playing baseball. So let's go on to Andrew Miller, defensive lineman at Country Day. Big kid, very good defensive lineman. Savannah Country Day, I think, is going to be another team that's going to surprise people.
I think so, too, especially when you got some of these big kids that really can hold up the line. And, geez Louise, you don't expect that at a small school like Country Day. But, they're starting to get some kids that are, you got to look at them and you got to say, wow, what's in the water over there?
What's in the water? I don't know what's in the water, but they're pretty special kids if you ask me. So, all right, so then we go down the road and we're going to go to the Windsor Forest neighborhood in Windsor Forest High School. This kid is only a sophomore. No offers yet, but now they call him Mazio Harris. They take out DeMazio Harris, like DeMazio. I love the kid's name. Very good running back out of Windsor Forest. Yeah. And the quarterback, Eric Phoenix. I know I spelt it wrong. Okay, right. Sorry, English teacher. So, but he's probably the quarterback to watch this year out of Savannah, Georgia, and he's getting a lot of good looks. Then, of course, over in Richmond Hill, you got to love the name. Aaron B. Good.
Bedgood.
I say Aaron B. Good. I know it's Aaron Bedgood.
Like Johnny B. Good?
Right, like Johnny B. Good, but he's already committed to Coastal Carolina.
All right, yeah.
All right. Jared Stokes, quarterback out of Effingham County, very explosive athlete. Rashmel Cooper. You know Rashmel Cooper?
Yeah, from Beach.
Tell me about him.
He's a great little athlete. He could pretty much play any position. I foresee him playing maybe at the collegiate level as a corner, or he's a little small to be a wide receiver at the D1 level. But he's a great little athlete, and that's why I guess he's listed as an athlete. But he can definitely play corner or DB at the next level, whether that's D2, D3, or wherever he decides that he wants to go. But he's a good kid. All
right, we got plenty more. We're going to post these up. We got Jeremy Smith out of Jenkins. We got Tarius Simmons out of Jenkins. Joe Cash. We got now I can't remember his name. Andrew Longwater, the running back out of St. Andrews. We got a bunch of kids. We'll try and get it up for you. It's been a lot of fun. You got to love high school football.
Yeah, I love
Brings
this
back
list.
to your WTOC Super 11.
Sure does.
So, the man that is the voice of high school football here in Georgia, heard every Friday night right here on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head from 10 to 12. It's the voice of the Georgia High School Scoreboard Show. Tommy Palmer, waiting in the wings. We'll be back about 10:37 with the man himself. Stay tuned, and it's all right here on
ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head.
Now, back to the Coach and Maikos on ESPN Radio.
And welcome back to the Coach and Maikos right here on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head. It's the coach, Karl DeMasi, and the former WTOC sports reporter, sports anchor, Melissa Maikos, now turned teacher just like me. But Melissa, this next man, and I'm not just doing this because it's him. Because when I moved here and I listened to this show on Friday nights, it was always something special. The high school scoreboard show, and then when I became head coach at Groves, and he took over the lead role as the host, he called me. He wanted me to be part of it, and then I wound up being the coastal reporter, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's great listening to him every Friday night. And I'm glad that he's on ESPN Radio, Savannah Hilton Head, 104.3 FM every Friday night, and he's joining us now on the
Savannah Smiles mobile hotline.
Not the Smobles.
Not the Smobles.
What?
Yeah, I get Savannah Smiles mixed up. You know me, Tommy. I go too fast. The Italian in me from New York. But anyway, Mr. Tommy Palmer. Tommy, always great having you on. I know we did this at 10:15 last night, but once again, high school football season's here again.
It is here, and a lot of people call that week 0, but it's week 1. You and I know that.
I know. Well, you know what? We got to do a roundtable here. We got to get John. We got to get John Nelson. We got Melissa. We got me and you, and we got to sit down and break this down. We got to see if we can do a 4-way here on this. I guess you would know it. The control board, is that what you call it?
Conference call on this thing, you know.
We got to get a conference call. Get him in here, and John's a great guy. I love talking to John. Melissa's good friends with him.
I've known John since I started in the business back in 2000. Well, since I started in Tallahassee in 2003. He's salt of the earth. Yes, definitely.
So how much did the weather wreak havoc last night on your scoreboard show?
Not too bad. Some of them were just really, really late, but the only true postponements and cancellations were Coosa and Tryon, New Hampstead and Jenkins, and South Effingham and Long County. And you told me that that South Effingham and Long County were supposed to kick off at 11 o'clock. We're 22 minutes, right?
22 minutes away from kickoff. You got that right.
Yeah.
So
that was basically it. Some of them, though, when you get into those lightning delays and stuff like that, you can't fool around with that lightning. When that light goes off, you better head for the hills,
Well, you have to wait 30 minutes. Georgia high school rule: within 10 miles, it strikes. You got to wait 30 minutes, and it's always this part of the season that we have to deal with that. I remember one time we waited at Memorial Stadium, the old Memorial Stadium. Kevin Thomas, P.J. Succo. We sat in there till like 10 o'clock, and then they restarted the game. We didn't finish till like 11:30 at night. And
I know.
And it's Friday night. It's not a school night.
The new Memorial look.
Oh, it's beautiful, Tommy. I mean, the man in charge of Chatham County Recreation Department, Stephen Proper, I mean, he just went all over the state, and it looks like an old-fashioned football stadium, brick facade, brick facing. It's not as huge as the old Dinosaur Memorial Stadium was. It's just they got a scoreboard that's going to be unbelievable. I mean, I'll send you pictures. It's unbelievable, Tommy. People are going to enjoy this.
Dude.
AstroTurf, so the games aren't going to be rained out, so it's going to be it's beautiful. It'll be the first game.
Send me some pictures because I may do something in my GPB blog,
Okay.
I do a blog every week on Georgia Public Broadcasting.
Awesome.
on the sports team there, and I'm going to do one on stadiums. And, of course, my old home stadium, I have to mention them, and then the Brickyard at Thompson and the Pit in Lyons. And there's a lot of historic stadiums that not necessarily historic, but a lot of great atmosphere stadiums around the state now.
The Pecan Grove.
That's his home stadium.
That was one of my favorites.
And that's Tommy's.
Yes, that was my favorite when I was at WTOC, going to the Pecan Grove. I was even told how to say it correctly, being a Northerner.
You got it. It's not pecan, it's pecan.
Grove. That's what they call it. And I played high school football there, and literally in the right season, you could pick up pecans before practice and crack them and eat them, and it was quite the deal. But the stadium, most people don't even really know this, but the name of the stadium is Bell Memorial Field. It was named for John Bell, a former Claxton quarterback. And, gosh, it's a historic old stadium. It's in a horseshoe kind of looking way now. And Melissa, I don't know if you noticed this when you were there, but a few years back, for a Class A school, I don't even know that any other school has this, but Claxton is one of those football teams that has the benefit of a scoreboard going both ways. They have a scoreboard at the south end and the scoreboard at the north end, and most don't even have that anymore.
Oh,
so
wow.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I just remember the tree being in the middle of the stands, and
There's a lot of trees there.
yeah, it was fun. I loved it up there.
All right, sir, we got 5 minutes now. We got to do this quick. Okay, first question. Benedictine coming back home to playing with the Chatham County Public Schools. How do you feel about that?
I think it's great. They're up to AAA. Everybody else just needs to gird up and play Benedictine tough. Listen, Benedictine's going to be tough. They could play in 5, 6A as good as 7A as good as they've been over the last 5 or 6 years. What are they like? 70-5, something like
The
that.
last 5 seasons, Mr. Danny Britt has guided the Benedictine cadets to 2 state championships and a 65-5 record.
There you go. There you go. That speaks for itself, and it doesn't matter what classification they're in. I've seen them play 3 or 4 times over the last 4 or 5 years, and they're just a really good football team, fundamentally sound. I'm looking forward to seeing what'll happen tonight in the Benedictine and Burke game.
Right.
Burke always is really good, but I fear that AAA needs to gird up themselves and get ready for a Benedictine invasion. I really do. I just think, I think they're going to be just as good as they were in AA.
All right, and you're listening to Coach and Maikos. We're talking to the Georgia High School Scoreboard host for the last 13 years, Tommy Palmer, and he's giving us a breakdown. Now, I've never seen this. I've been here for now 23 years, but the recruiting in the southeast part of the state, specifically Savannah, top colleges coming through Savannah, Georgia, and you've watched this a long time. What do you think's going on now that they're coming through here and they're noticing our kids in the southeast?
Well, I think what happened was there were so many great ones, great players in Metro Atlanta and the bigger communities. Why bother to drive all the way down to South Georgia? And they would come see 1 or 2 at a school. But and I also think, the recruiting things that folks like ESPN has, where they take players out and coaches get to come by and take a look at them. That's made recruiting has become very big in the state, and I think that's probably why. But also, let me tell you something. It's hard to miss a really good football player, and everybody has good football players anymore. So the supply has met the demand, if you know what I mean. There are no marginal players moving on to the next level. Everybody's getting good. I think the fact that nutrition's gotten better, weightlifting's gotten better, and I think the personal trainer thing that a lot of people have the benefit of today has made a big difference. But I think high school football in the state of Georgia is as good as it's ever been, but I don't think it's as good as it's going to be in 2 more years.
Do you think that I guess the Savannah area and some of Georgia football, coming from the north, it's just such a world of difference, watching these athletes play. And do you think we get the love and respect that we deserve, that these kids deserve?
Oh, we're never going to get the love and respect we need. But I tell you what, the way we win respect is to travel up north and beat someone. And I say we because I've always played in South Georgia. I'm a part of North Georgia by benefit of GPB, but a good indication, Colquitt County was 11-4 last year, almost won the 7A title, and that was a rebuilding year. They've got 78 lettermen back this year.
Wow.
I would imagine they're going to have a pretty good year for a South Georgia team. You earn respect from South Georgia by winning, by going to North Georgia or Metro Atlanta and winning those football games. And I think it's just going to take time. The better we get, we're going to get up there and be able to play with anybody, I believe, Melissa.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, Mr. Palmer, we're up against the clock here. Let's tell everybody how many stations you are and what the show is all about.
52 stations all across the state of Georgia. You can go to my website, TommyPalmerMediaGroup.com, and go to the front page. You can listen to the show live on the Listen Live link there. And also, you can go to the menu and click on Scoreboard Stations, and it'll tell you where there's one in your area to listen to. And Carl, as always, it's good to be on your program, Melissa. Good to catch up with you again. And you guys have a great day.
Tommy, we've been doing this for 13 years on Friday nights. We plan on doing it many more, and I'm glad that you could be part of the show, and I can call you a friend.
Thank you, buddy. Same here.
Have a good weekend.
See you again, Melissa.
Thanks,
Y'all have a
Tommy.
good weekend.
Say that again.
I said y'all have a good weekend.
You too.
Oh, you too.
I mean, the man's been doing this since he's 16 years old. He's a legend, and he's such a humble guy too.
Yeah, so much so.
But when I associate Georgia High School football, I think of Tommy Palmer and the Georgia High School football show right away.
Yeah, if you don't know who he is, you need to know who he is because he's pretty big time.
All right, let's let you take it out today.
Thank you. Next, we will talk with blank. We got the three.
What's the man behind you?
I don't know. We have three out the door. We're going to bring the Kell back on and talk a few things as we roll out and wrap up this show here. Gosh, it goes by really fast.
Goes by.
Sure does.
You're listening to the Coach N.
Maikos on the Karl DeMasi Sports Report on ESPN Radio, Savannah, Hilton Head.
We'll be right back after this.
Now here's the coach, Karl DeMasi and Melissa Maikos on ESPN Radio.
And that's right, it's the Coach and Maikos, and now it's the Coach, Maikos, and Kell taking you out the door. 3 out the door, 3 points we want to talk about that have to do with sports, but really go off a little off the topic. We have fun with this, and Melissa came up with this idea. Superstitions, athletics or athletes superstition. Okay, so what is the most outrageous superstition you've ever heard?
Well, Nomar Garcia-Parra. I mean, watching him in his batting routine when he played for the Red Sox, watching him go through that whole routine with his batting gloves was absolutely crazy in my world, but I totally get it because I know I had my own personal superstitions and my hair had to be a certain way. I had to wear a certain sports bra, and I wore the same socks my senior year during basketball season, and they wound up having holes in them. My mom did wash them every day. So, but yeah, superstitions, but the Nomar Garcia-Parra one is the big one for me.
All right, I don't know that it's so much a superstition, or it's definitely not outlandish, and I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but if I don't steal your thunder, Carl, I would say that play like a champion today. Notre Dame tapping the sign would probably be my most memorable tradition at the earliest that I've seen that.
But it's a superstition. I mean, because every Notre Dame football player taps that sign before they go out of the locker room.
That's right.
So that's not bad. I got to go with Melissa, but I just find it gross. And I was a baseball player, but baseball players who are on a streak, whether it's a pitcher or a catcher or a hitter, they don't change their clothes or they don't wash their stuff. I mean, that's disgusting. That's the most outrageous superstition I've ever heard. I'm superstition because before every game, I have to find a heads-up penny. I don't know if it's an obsession. I don't know what it is, but I have to find a heads-up penny. If I find a heads-up penny, I think I'm going to win. I'm not going to get money because I wouldn't be doing this if I was rich. So, but I find a penny heads-up. I got to find a penny heads-up. That's my superstition. But the one about the clothes with baseball players, I mean, they're on a 16-game hitting streak and they haven't changed their socks or they wear the same socks without washing them. That's gross.
Well, I know we don't have hockey down here, I guess, at least not in Savannah. But they do in the playoffs. They do the beard in the NHL,
right? Which
is another sort of superstition all the way to the cup.
Any other outrageous ones we can think of?
It's not so much a superstition, but it's just tradition.
Okay.
And I love some of the traditions, and we kind of talked a little bit about Florida State and Chief Osceola and Renegade coming out of the beginning. The pregame, I guess, superstitions. Virginia Tech is one of my
pregame rituals.
Yeah, pregame rituals. It's one of my favorites at Virginia Tech, just simply because they come out to enter Sandman, and they got the military there and all that fun stuff. And I guess you probably experienced that, Markell.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I don't like to talk about VTech, but I will talk about Clemson and
touching
the rock coming down. That's a sight to see.
Now I'm going to go to a school here, right in this area, South Carolina, Thomas Hayward Academy. My first time as head coach at St. Andrews, I come out to the field. They come out to Dixie, and the football team is in maroon and silver breeches, and they're running out with the Confederate flag. I turned to my friend. I said, I think I got lost off of I-95 here. That's a high school now. Strangest openings I've ever seen.
And we also talk about stuff like that, with, Florida State and Chief Osceola and, the tradition with the Native Americans and stuff like that. And for me, as long as it's not derogatory, I'm okay with it.
So, well, we're not going to get to a third one. Markell, always great having you on. I know we don't give you enough time to talk, but it's always a pleasure having you here.
Carl, my back hurts.
So what does that mean?
I think I need to go see Wetherington Chiropractic.
Oh yeah, the Wetherington Chiropractic. I got to give a big shout out to Bart Wetherington for sponsoring our Wetherington Chiropractic Clinic Athlete of the Week. We didn't have an Athlete of the Week on, so it just forgot me. I didn't read the read, but we don't have enough time to do it. We got 20 seconds to get out of here. Always flies by. Great job, Melissa.
Yes, thank you.
And to the man in the back.
Cody Queen.
And right after this show, you can listen to Explosive Recruiting. The guys are back on, Jim Johnson and Calvin Wilson. Then we got the Rockies against the Braves at 7:10. Tomorrow, the Rockies and Braves at 1:35. I can't wait to say we got the Falcons on. And, of course, remember, every Saturday we're here. Always have a great week until next week. And what do you want to do?
Hit it out of the park.
We'll see you next weekend. Have a lot of fun.
This has been the Karl DeMasi Sports Report on ESPN Radio Savannah Hilton Head, AM 1400 and FM 104.3.